All right, all right, all right. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. I'm your host, Rich Giordano. It is Sunday, January 29th, 2023. How are we? Tonight, we are going to talk about the possibility of another extinction event and aliens. However, would psychics know? It all depends. They didn't know anything about the last 2 years. There was no warnings from any psychics. There was no books. I know some people think that Sylvia Brown, I'm watching you, bastard. I know Sylvia. I know she's made some sort of comment or somewhere saying in the future there's going to be that. Fauci said that too, except he was a little more precise. But no psychics were coming out. You know, here, if an asteroid was coming our way, they would, hear that, and then they'll try to be the first person to get out their premonition before the scientists got that world. Now, I don't know how that would happen, but these psychics have a funny way of finding things out before the rest of us. And then next thing you know, it's in mainstream media, and they're like, I predicted that. And no, you did not. You had inside information. See, that would be scary. That's why they cannot make those predictions. And that's why I'm not a big fan of the psychic. No psychic, this is the rule this is the golden rule in the psychic community. We don't tell people when they're going to die, and we don't give people bad news. That's the rule of thumb. I was told this many a times because when we had the AZ UFO show, me and my co-host, Mr. E, would use our psychic abilities to have people call in, and we would give them a psychic beatdown, and we called it the psychic beating show. And people would call in, and all we would have is bad information for them. One guy calls up one day and he goes, hey man, what do you see about my future? And I said, doesn't look good. What? I say, oh, it looks like you're going to die in your 40s. I don't know. How old are you now? Man, you're not supposed to say that. This psychic beating show, we tell you the truth here. That was a fun time. I love the psychic beatings. However, we were pretty accurate on a lot of stuff. It was amazing. That's why I love doing the psychic stuff. I'm not spending a whole show on it. I'm just mentioning, will psychics tell us in advance if there's going to be a volcano, tornado, hurricane, asteroid, something, the big extinction? Is it coming? When is it coming? Who's it coming by? Is it purposeful? Did we know ahead of time? Let's do roll call and get this shindig going. Ben, the Yorkshire Goofonian, welcome to the show. Yeah, for sure. You're excited to listen? Much to learn. It's not that type of show, but you're more than welcome to listen. Who's this guy? Den Bub? How you doing, eh? Hey, what's up, Cyber Bry? You have a prediction? Is it the same one that Mr. T gave Sylvester Stallone? Rocky. Prediction. Pain. I just watched Rocky 3 yesterday. Rebecca Wiles, the wild one. How you doing, Rebecca? Welcome to this show. Ozzy Tiger, welcome to this show. Metalhead, welcome to this show. Diane Boss, welcome to this show. Yoga with Denise, welcome to this show from New York. Dorothy Hawkins. Ooh, I'm going to try not because my keyboard keeps wanting to place capital letters even when I don't want them. It's okay. If you can't, if you want to type in all caps, we'll let it slide. If it's easier for you. You know what? I'm okay with it. I was just busting chops the other day with you, but I don't mind it. Does anybody care if Dorothy types in all caps because it's easier? No, we don't mind. More power to you. I'll just think you have a question every time you're speaking. I won't. I'm joking. I want you to enjoy yourself in all cap if you have to, sister. Sister. Intergalactic overhaul. Good to see you. Nice and early, too. I saw Zach as well. Diecast Mom. Welcome to the show. Hellfire Studios, you as well. Welcome to this show. David Wilcox, welcome to Goof On. Nice to see you. And we'll stop it there. There's a guy named David. The Doomsday Clock moved. Did you guys know? You know there's a Doomsday Clock, right? It did. That thing's stuck on it was stuck for a while, right? Now it's moved. The Doomsday Clock is funny. I want to look that up. We're going to look that up here. If I didn't say hi, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It means, we got a show to do. So I'm just proceeding forward with the rest of the show. If you'd like to help support Goof On, because we do rely on you to live, support the show, you can use Super Chat, Super Sticker, PayPal, Cash App, and all the links are in the show description. You can even become a member of Goof On itself. All the links are in the provided areas, even in the About section of Goof On. Yeah, we're almost at 11,000 subscribers. We did a video the other day, and it was on the Tom DeLonge, Jeremy. I almost said Jeremy Roenick again because of sports. Jeremy Corbell. I say Corbell, but disrespect. And George Knapp, that blob of reflection. What was I going to say? What was I just saying? I got distracted. I was just looking. Doomsday Clock. Let me pull it up. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm not going to say it now. All right. Doomsday Clock. Here we go. Ah. Oh, it's the, yeah, that's right. I forgot. What are the end times and are we living in them? Yeah, I don't. All right. not now, but well, I got into a place that it says Indian Rocks Baptist Church, and it's giving the reasons why it's prophesized that the end of days will, you know, be soon. Well, we're not that far away. Um, I am looking for the actual Doomsday Clock. There's the Doomsday Clock, End of Times. Oh, that's the Indian Rocks. There's the Ink Stick Media one, Doomsday Clock Bulletin, the current time. Here it is. A time of unprecedented danger. It is 90 seconds to midnight. An ad just popped up. Let me pull this up for you so you can see it along with me. Good idea on that clock, man. Great. Thank you so much. I'm getting good at this sharing and everything on Melon. I think I like it. I like it. It's a much clearer stream too. It really is. Now let me see if it's doing the 1080 today. It is. Yeah, it's on 1080. So it's working. 30 frames a second. We're good. So here it is. Let me put myself on top. No, see, that's smaller. No. Wait, is that the biggest one? I want the big screen for you guys. So that's as big as it gets. Now let's if you can't take me out of the picture, hold on. So I don't like that size. I want it to be big. All right, that's what I'm right here is good. Big deal. Who you don't need to see me. Who cares about me? So here we go. Founded in 1945 by Albert Einstein. It sounds familiar, that guy. And University of Chicago scientists who helped develop the first atomic weapons in the Manhattan Project. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists created the Doomsday Clock 2 years later, using the imagery of apocalypse midnight and the contemporary idiom of nuclear explosion countdown to zero to convey threats to humanity and the planet. The Doomsday Clock is set every year by the Bulletin's Science and Security Board in consultation with the board of sponsors, which includes 10 Nobel laureates. Did I say that right? Laureates? The clock has become a university recognized indicator of the world's vulnerability to global catastrophe caused by man made technology. Oh, by man made. So it's not a prediction based on natural selection or evolution. You know what I mean? Well, this year, the Science and Security Board of Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists moved the hands of the Doomsday Clock forward, largely, though not exclusively, because of the mounting dangers of the war in Ukraine. The clock now stands at 90 seconds to midnight, the closest to global catastrophe it has ever been. Wow. Unbelievable. All right. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's always something. Always something. And you know what I like about what I just did? I don't have to close out of that. Just as different than StreamYard. I can keep that open for future reference, like now. See, I don't have to worry about finding it again. So I have to remember to keep those open to reference them back. Thank you. Good job, guys. So there's the clock. That's the Doomsday Clock. They moved it, correct, and closest it's ever been. Now, when I'm talking about extinction events, I'm talking about Yellowstone erupting, an asteroid the size of the dinosaurs coming, wipe us out. Unfortunately, nuclear holocaust. Well, not where I was going, but I guess that would have to be thrown into the mix, right? I mean, I wasn't thinking that because if you look here, 12,500 years ago, there was a catastrophic, catastrophic flood. And a lot of people talked about it. Graham Hancock, especially, and Randall Carlson were on Joe Rogan talking about the meteors or asteroids or a comet. It was a comet tail or something about this comet that was coming around, and the Earth went through the debris field, and all this stuff hit the northern part of, like Canada, Antarctica, melted all the ice and created the floods, which is why we have these type of patterns in the Sahara Desert and in the Mojave Desert, and we have those in the wetlands. We've seen these type of, these are things that you see alongside rivers and maybe even where a flood was. You can see these ripples in the sand and in the dirt. It's from rushing water finding the easiest path, and that's what happens. And it just creates these mounds, and the ones that are here are enormous, but the ones you see when you're walking around, I mean, that's just a huge example of that. So Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock have theorized, and they've done a very good job of researching with data, years and years of data. And there's a black line that goes around the earth. When you look at the Grand Canyon and you see all the sedimentary and all the different layers, there's this black layer of soot that goes around a certain part of the earth 12,500 years ago, coincidentally. So I am not sure if we're heading back. I thought I heard we're heading back into that region again. I'm not sure that that's true. If anybody knows, I should pull up a couple of those things, but I didn't think I was gonna go that route, you know? I didn't think I was gonna talk about it. Let me just get rid of something here. Oh, I forgot to put up last night's links to the show. Not to the show, to the videos I played. Damn it. Man, I can't believe it. I did forget. Sorry, damn it. I hate that I did that. All right, let me pull up a video. Squeeze me. All right. Oh, I have, there's a lot of stuff I picked to talk about. This show has gone completely in a different direction than I thought it was going to go in my mind already. All right, hold on a second. I got to make sure I'm in the right place. Okay, got that. Okay. All right. We got some John Greenwald to talk about. Oh, and there's this video that was sent to me from one of you, and I can't remember who. I'm so sorry. It feels like I want to say Greg, who gave me the FedEx plane that was supposedly followed by UFOs or a UFO. Yeah. Um, we're going to talk some Tom DeLonge. We've got some of Marie's UFOs to look at. 9 traits. I've never heard of this before either, which has kind of triggered me into wanting to talk about psychics a little bit. 9 traits of a dark empath. Dark empath. Yeah, I like that. Whoa. What is this? Somebody, Andrea Coran, sent $10 twice. Oh, these are the thank you messages? Oh my God. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Look at this. Those are thank yous. No, they are. So it's an after show super chat from Andrea Coran. That is so cool. Thank you so much for those 2 10 spots. That's unbelievable. That was last night. Yeah, for some reason it's hold on, it's not giving me something went wrong, it says. All right, so something's going on. Wow. That was weird what just happened. Hold on, bear with me. I have got to. Oh my, it switched counts on me. How does it do that? It switched me to my Goof on Lives account, which by the way is also getting subscribers, which is interesting. Hold on. Okay, now everything's all right. All right. What was I doing? All right, we're going here. You guys know I don't like to miss any super chats and stuff like that. I just feel awful when I do that. And again, Dorothy with $2. I see it. So we are caught up to date. Okay. Yeah, that she did that last night. Andrea Coran. I don't know who that is. Andrea Coran. Thank you very much. Jeff Garvey with his dono last night. $5. Shell Shock with $2.99 last night. I'm not sure I saw these. Okay, I've seen those. And Dorothy just threw down $2. Okay. Yeah, guys, sorry. I it's those thank yous are awesome and they're rare, so I never ever expect to see that. And Shell Shock with $11 on PayPal. Thank you very much. Where's Dorothy's on here? See, this. I'm so sorry. Is Samo here? I didn't see him. Anybody see him? I got some messages from him. There you are, Dorothy. Thank you. That's the first super chat of the night. Thank you very much. Mucho gusto. Generoso, a continuing supporter of Goofon. Thank you very much, Dorothy. And Shell Shock for the PayPal. Appreciate it. Without support, Yeah, it's impossible to go 7 days. Eh, maybe we'll go because I'm thinking about coming back. I'm definitely gonna have to get a, you know, something to do on the side. All right, that's okay. Gets me out of the house. All right. Well, now we were talking about empath, which I find interesting, by the way. A dark empath. What is a dark empath? I don't freaking know. Never heard of it until today. Never heard of it until today. But a dark empath. Well, let's find out. I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm all like in a fog all of a sudden. You know what I want to do? I want to start this all over. I just feel off. I just feel off. I feel off because it's late. I'm usually working out right now. All right, you ready? So let's get rid of this. I don't need the clock anymore. I'm getting rid of it. And some other things that were straggling. Anytime you update your web browser, everything, you know, every tab you have open has to be reset, it seems. All right, now we can get going. I have a tweet here. I'm just going to pull this up. It's from Diana Pasulka. You guys know who that is, right? Right? Okay. Well, very popular in the UFO community. You guys figure it out. 13-second clip here. And she put up, did any of my Sydney, Australian friends see this? A drone? I don't know. What is it she's questioning? And here's the sighting I'm going to give you in 5, 4, 3, 2, and gosh. What do you think? Pretty fast, right? See the flip it did there? Watch. 100% drone. And I'm amazed, but I'm not, that Diana Pasulka would actually put this up there for us to question. You know, it just it's embarrassing, really. That thing is going fast, don't get me wrong, but it's not Mach 30, you know? It's not 70,000 miles an hour. It's a drone. Drones go fast. Little ones like this, the Acrobat drones, can freaking fly like nobody's business. And that's what we have here. You can tell when it flips, you can see the lights and everything. I mean, if it looks like a drone, acts like a drone, then it's not a UFO. See right here. They're just showing off. I know some people think this is fast, but it really isn't. It's not fast. It just looked fast. It really wasn't. So I have a drone. It's not made for speed. It's made for business, you know, but it goes 45 miles an hour. That's pretty fast, you know? That keeps up with some traffic. And they've got drones that go 100 miles an hour, no problem. So I'm talking, you can buy them, you can, you know what I mean? You can make them faster if you know how to do that. But it's frustrating, you know, somebody of her supposed caliber is not supposed to be putting those things out there, I think, but maybe they are. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong. Nathan gave a 5.55, $5.55 through PayPal. I just got it. It says, I'm still here. I've been super busy with all sorts of super important but very vague things. That gush all over a straightforward answer. That's funny, actually. All right. Thank you, man. I know you're here. Glad, Nathan. Thank you very much. Nathan from the Quantum Show with the 555 on PayPal. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nathan's a continuing supporter for forever. I think he's been around since we started, right? Decades ago? Nathan? Maybe? No? Wasn't that you? All right, what do we got here? Let's get rid of that. We don't need this. I can move more over. There we go. Oh, wait. No, we need that. Don't forget, this Friday, Atlantis, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. All right. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the biggest show ever. I'm actually going to start advertising tomorrow for it. Let's Bud Hopkins. Um it's from Bud Hopkins' Sight Unseen, the book, regarding Katarina Wilson's series of abduction experiences in her book, Alien Jigsaw. ET using a type of quantum level process in order to render her invisible. That would tie in with UAP exhibited behavior. Huh? Watch. Let's go here. So here, it's certainly possible that Katarina's invisibility in the airport restroom had some ordinary explanation that we haven't considered. It doesn't matter if you know this story because it's all self explanatory. So just follow along or read along. But it's also conceivable that her physical transparency was and what is that? Analogous? Analogous? I can never get that song right. That song, that wow. I just looked at the word song and said that as I'm trying to figure out how to speak English. All right. It's also conceivable that was weird that her physical transparency was analogous to actions of quantum physics that even astrophysicists had not imagined until a few years ago. Researchers have recently reported in the journal Nature that certain opaque substances can be made transparent, essentially invisible, when specially treated. Their experiments relate to two new phenomena in physics: the slowing down of light under laboratory conditions, and a complex phenomenon in certain gases called electromagnetically induced transparency, or EIT. A team of physicists at the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics have built on experiments in 1999 that slowed light down from its normal speed of 186,000 miles a second to 38 miles an hour. The next round of experiments slowed light in a gas called rubidium, which is opaque because it naturally absorbs the dark red laser light used by the team. But when they shined a second laser with a different frequency into the gas, the scientists rendered it transparent. And this is due to the EIT effect, the quantum property in which the two lasers create a beat frequency, similar to what happens to two tuning forks that simultaneously sound slightly different notes. That makes sense to me. That's perfectly explained. The atoms of the rubidium gas don't easily absorb that the new frequency or light wave, so it lets the light pass right through. In other words, the gas becomes transparent. The light has actually been brought to a stop and stored completely in the atoms of the gas. Essentially, the light becomes stuck in the medium and it can't get out until the experimenter says, no, said one of the researchers. We know that if something happens on a subatomic level, it is conceivable that a similar process can occur in a world visible to our senses. We can only wonder if Katerina might have been impacted by EIT in some way that we simply cannot understand yet. I buy that. I buy that. I buy it 100%. That's a great article on the EIT and on how that actually could make one invisible. Aliens make us themselves invisible or cloaking. That's remarkable stuff right there. Wow. Good stuff, man. That makes sense. If you have one thing here, one laser light, and it's shining into the gas, and it's a lower frequency light, and then you have this other gas, which you put in with this other frequency of light, they work together and have it's like two negatives making a positive, right? It You put all that stuff together. They just found a way to combine these gases and light sources to be invisible. They combine them together. Boop. Can't see you. That's remarkable shit. Hey, who's this guy? Brett S. How you been, man? How's the new year hanging? Good? Good, good. You don't have to answer. But thank you for the $9 or $10 super chat, as always. A continuing supporter of Goof On. Using a new platform here so I don't play the pretty songs or any bells or whistles. However, I should have, and I'm sorry I didn't. We have these, Thank you, thank you. And everybody, it's a super chat, $10. Thank you. Stop the biting, kids. Some of the adults. Thank you, Brett S. Brett S. We're broadcasting from two different locations. You're just getting the satellite feed from Istanbul. Thank you, Istanbulians. Thank you, Brett S. Mucho gusto. Generoso. I appreciate it. Hey, Tim Freestone's here. What's up? How you doing, Chief? Lunar Sparkles 1. Didn't forget to say hi today. Claudia Rodriguez, how you been? Good to see you. Bob Berkins is here too. All right, we got a whole bunch of yous here. How many? Only 85? Yeah. We'll break 100 someday. This used to be the starting time of this show. I'm surprised. Oh, it's Sunday. It's Sunday, that's why. All right, let's keep moving the show along. So I was let me pull something up for you. Yeah, that was weird. Not gonna pay attention right now. Just hold on. Here we go. Sorry I didn't have this up and ready, but now we do. Here we go. And extinction level events have happened several times in history. I think there's been 5 or 6. I'm not sure, but it's 5 or 6. Every single time there's an extinction level event, at least back in the day. But if, we lose all of our technology and everything, and people get displaced and spread out, depending on the level of the extinction event. I can't imagine 12,500 years ago what happened, but Randall Carlson and what's the guy's name? Graham Hancock have done the best research on this extinction level event 12,500 years ago. That may be the reason we have stories of the Great Flood. The Bible talks about it and whatnot. So I have the interview and I want to play a little bit of it and, let you hear why this is so exciting. And Joe Rogan said it's okay to play. So I'm okay with that. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on.
12 miles, about 20 kilometers up in the atmosphere, but it was still enough to damage thousands of buildings and injure.
They're talking about the 2012 meteor that exploded over Russia, and people got hurt. Windows, remember that the big little, the big contrail left by the little object, which really wasn't very little, but in the grand scheme of things, it is. I want to show this off real quick. Jeff Garvey with $10. Siegfried. Are you throwing down $10 for Sieg Fuegel, the Führer of Skinwalker Ranch? Are you mocking him? You mock Sieg Fuegel with the money? You think your money can buy me? Well, it can. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. That's right, mister. With all... I can't do voices today. Thanks, Jeff. Mucho gusto, generoso. A continuing supporter of Goof On. Hey, Dorothy. Q from chat. Dark empath. What is that? Now, I said I'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Yeah, I touched on it, like I do in the beginning of the show. And I said, hey, I want to talk about this, that, and the other thing. And then I started talking about what a dark empath is. And I said, I'll get back to it later. I'll get back to it later. Dark empath. Remind me later. You don't have to throw the $2 out to remind me. If you want to, that's fine. Dorothy, you're too kind. You know what I'll do? I'll save this so I don't forget it. How do we do that again? Double click. Double click over here. I don't understand. Double click to update. All right. I don't know what I did. Oh, there, I saved it. Tunguska. Yeah. It wasn't Tunguska. That's from, I believe, 1908. That was probably an ice bolide, right? Isn't it called a bolide? That one was probably made of ice, exploded maybe a mile or two above the Earth, and the energy from that caused a dispersion. There was an epicenter, and everything just rolled out like, from an epicenter outward. It was kind of weird. All the trees were laid down and all opposite, and there's center point, and then poof, and they all went pew, and all the trees were kind of like a Mount St. Helens type of thing, but in 1908. Mount St. Helens? I thought it was active again. She's a mighty one. I'm so sorry. Am I missing something?
1,500 people. Now, the thing about that one is if it had been slightly larger, if it had come in at a slightly steeper angle, a little bit higher velocity,
I don't want to hear
you
this.
could have had
global cataclysm, the massive event that happened 12,800 years ago, the Younger Dryas impacts, which were a series of comet impacts on the North American ice cap. This accounts for why we don't have a lot of evidence, hard evidence, of a 12,000 plus year old civilization, because it went down in that catastrophe. It was wiped out.
I've been trying to amass the evidence, actually, that complements what Graham is doing, and it really answers that question that Shermer brought up. And it's a legitimate question. Where's the evidence? But I'm quite sure that Shermer is not really educated in the extreme events that have really
Shermer is one of the worst debunkers or skeptics on the planet. One of the worst. Shermer, what's his first name? Fritz? Fritz Shermer? No, it's not Fritz.
taken place on this planet in the last 10 to 20,000 years. And what that would do to any kind of evidence. And maybe while we have some time here today, I brought a few things to try to convey some sense of how extreme some of these changes have been and how one would actually be quite shocked to find anything existing in the aftermath of these events.
Well, Michael Shermer's a brilliant guy.
Sure.
I don't mean to shit on him, but what is disturbing to me is that his knee-jerk reaction to this, without having any research at all in the subject, not knowing at all about Göbekli Tepe, which was discovered in what, the 90s?
Yeah. 96.
So this is, to me, this is something that I've looked at because of you guys in great depth. When I read your book, I was just completely enthralled with this idea of history having some sort of a rise and fall and civilization having these resets. So I've been absorbed in it for a long time. But what's fascinating to me is people that consider themselves to be skeptical or I mean, he's a skeptic professionally.
Sure.
But many people who question anything that's outside of what they've been told, as soon as they hear any sort of a theory outside of what they've been told, they immediately call quackery.
Isn't that funny how they do that? These scientists, when these guys are coming out and have so much evidence and everything they said, for decades is now finally getting the credibility it should have. But for over 20 years, maybe longer, these guys were being called quacks. That's just so rude. It doesn't make sense to me why they can't accept new information. And I almost feel like it's with everything. Everything. Like, they want to keep everything where it is right now. Why? We're an ever evolving, always changing society of people, a planet full of people with dreams and hopes of making things better for themselves, maybe the planet, but it's always changing. Nothing stays the same. So, how can you not change history books? Why don't you want it? That's the real why don't they want to accept this theory? And I think the reason is, from watching this Joe Rogan episode several times, it's because they would have a lot of explaining to do. And they don't want to. They have to hide the shit that they have hidden. They can't let us know that societies were thriving better than we were 50, 100,000 years ago, perhaps, with technologies that we don't understand and can't figure out, which I think we can figure out and have understood, and just don't want to give it to us. They don't want to share it. Why? It's got to be something you or I can't imagine. It's got to be because it's explosive. It's got to be dangerous. That's the only reason you keep technology like this away from the public. But if they did it back in those days, why can't we do it now? You know what I mean? It's too corrupt. Everything's corrupt now. Have you watched Game of Thrones? That was based on a true story. Similar, right? I mean, that's how life really is. It's a Game of Thrones type of life, and you and I aren't in it. So we have questions that they can't answer. And that movie, Don't Look Up, is unbelievable. I've seen it a couple times, and I enjoyed it a lot. I love that movie. It's exactly what we're going through or gone through. It's so funny how they portray the media in that as, we're gonna get, there's an asteroid coming. That's fantastic. So you look fantastic on the red carpet the other night. You know, they just don't want to talk about real shit. All right, here we go.
Absolutely.
And this, but it's a weird knee-jerk reaction to something, especially when you talk about asteroids, that is a very real part of our past. Yeah. We have a ton of evidence. I mean, there's actual craters that you can look at on Earth. The moon, which has no atmosphere, is littered with them. And if we look at the moon as a model for what could possibly have happened to Earth, or at least, some of them, obviously with the moon having no atmosphere, it's going to get hit a lot more than we are.
Sure.
But still, I mean, this is a very real situation that this solar system, at least as far as we know, the only solar system that has to deal with this. But we know this is a real issue. I mean, we've seen impacts.
Well, it's like you just said. On the one hand, you have Earth scientists looking at the Earth, and what they're realizing is that the Earth is pockmarked with scars, and each of these scars represents a tremendously powerful catastrophe that's happened in the history of the Earth. Now, that's accepted by mainstream science, that major catastrophes have happened in the history of the Earth. But where this thing now is about to come full circle is the recognition that these kinds of catastrophes have also influenced the rise and fall of civilization, and a lot more extremely than has been recognized up to this point. And while geologists and earth scientists are looking at the surface of the Earth and realizing that etched into the surface of the Earth or imprinted into the surface of the Earth are hundreds of scars, of which undoubtedly are only a small percentage of the total that exist, at the same time, astronomers are looking out into near-Earth space and discovering that we cohabit space with a lot of stuff. It's not as empty as we thought. And just within the last 6 or 7 weeks, we've had 2 close flybys.
Of previously undiscovered asteroids.
This
is the point, because NASA keeps saying, well, we've counted 1,650 asteroids and none of them are going to hit the Earth in the next 100 years. Well, yeah, that's true. But what about all the ones they haven't counted, which are estimated to run into hundreds of thousands and which haven't been seen yet? And what
Right. And eventually one of those is going to knock on the door and we're not going to be able to see it. And good night, Gracie. we'll only have maybe a week if we're lucky. If that came around from the sun and we can't see it for a while, and then the next thing you know, they see it and it's only a day away. Oh my God. I had dreams about that happening before Trump became president. I was dreaming that there was catastrophic stuff happening because he was president. And I remember talking about that, a couple of those dreams. And it wasn't that he was responsible, he was president, which is weird. I wonder, if he wins in 24, which I don't know what's going to happen, but that'd be weird if he wins and then it happens. I don't know, man. Earth is on course to definitely be in another situation, and who's prepared for it? Preppers, maybe. And even then, the preppers, they probably won't live too long. Who knows? I can't imagine all the people. Think about this. Like, what about all the people on medication? They may have all their prescriptions, when the bombs go off or the asteroid hits or whatever happens and the world's done. Nobody's going to deliver food. Nobody's going to deliver medication. Do you know how many people are going to get sick and die? It is just half the world will probably be wiped out immediately, and then the other half will probably starve. And then we're left with maybe a billion or 2 billion people, maybe. I don't know. Those Georgia Guidestones got taken out, and we still don't know who took them out. We could live in total perpetuity with the Earth with 500 million people on the planet. That's the ideal number. 500 million people. But no, we have to have babies. I don't know what that means, guys. Just ignore it.
Themselves
no,
from
I think
it?
that's where it started.
That's where it started.
They wanted to separate themselves off from that. Now they've gone a long way from that, and many, many scientists have got a vested interest in what is called uniformitarianism or gradualism. And they don't like to hear about cataclysms having any major impact on the story of life on Earth.
So is it sort of the momentum of these initial desires to escape religious influence that have sort of led them down this path?
Yes. And then there are others who have a vested interest in current accounts of global warming, others who have a vested interest in extinctions taking place now. They want to say that our ancestors were responsible for the extinction of all the mammoths and mastodons and so on and so forth, whereas the Comet Research Group scientists are saying, no, those huge megafauna of North America were wiped out as a result of the massive series of impacts on the North American ice cap.
I'm reading a book right now by Dan Flores, a really interesting book called Coyote America. He's a wildlife historian, and he is really an expert on all the different forms of wildlife in North America, where they originated, where they migrated to. And one of the more fascinating things about it is he's talking about all these animals that went extinct, 10,000 plus years ago, this mass extinction event, and never once does he bring up cataclysms, and there's all these different ideas, and one of the big ones being that human beings with atlatls, which is like really a very weird sort of a spear throwing device, wiped out the woolly mammoths and all these other animals, and
to me, it's
seems
a lunatic,
so preposterous.
It's a lunatic idea. Also, if you have any contact with hunter-gatherers today, you find that hunter-gatherer peoples don't overkill their game. They hunt them respectfully, they take what they need, and they leave the rest because it's a renewable resource for them. So I don't think hunter-gatherers wiped out the mammoths in North.
Well, why not? Why can't they have wiped out the mammoths? The mammoths were big, and they probably came into their villages and ruined everything, running around, knocking down their homes. Seriously. I could see why they would want to take out these little dinosaur type elephants. It makes sense. They didn't have to use them for food all the time. They could have used them for their fur and for their tusks and for all sorts of stuff. So I'm a little shocked that he's actually saying that. That to me it makes more sense to me. Well, I think it was both cataclysmic and with the help of man wiping out I mean, we wiped out almost everything on. I mean, we will eventually wipe everything out. Eventually, everything will cease to exist, right? Imagine another 2 billion people on the planet. Apparently, when we hit 9 billion people, we're at the point of no return, which means, and some scientists say that now, that the Earth can't support the life that's even on the planet right now. But I'm hearing opposite. There's plenty of food. Do you know how much food we waste? America and China? We waste so much food. It is sickening. Sickening beyond sickening. So I do believe man had a role in killing those poor little wildebeests. I'm going to jump forward to the geological parts of this. I can't think. Let's see. They're going to start talking. Now, this is the proof that they have. I did skip over to an hour and 40 minutes because I can't play everything, but I'm trying to find the most exciting and most important parts. Here we go.
Exposed? What's this?
Controversial ancient pyramids of China.
That one
Oh,
looks
yeah.
exposed. It's
And that
moving
one
stone.
looks blocky. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that is another thing about China that we just don't have a clue. When we think about the age and scale of things, we're so.
And also, when this cataclysmic event happened, things and everything started popping up all over the globe. It's like whatever was destroyed by the floods, those intellects were dispersed and went to other cities and brought their knowledge with them. And that's why we see pyramids everywhere and all different timelines. I mean, that knowledge is out there. Why don't we see? That's why I believe our government, I believe they have the knowledge. You're going to tell me for thousands and thousands and thousands of years that technology was passed on, then all of a sudden it stops and you or I can't have any of it? I'm not sure I buy it.
Silly. We've only been around since 1776 is when the country was established. It's not really that long ago. You're dealing with China. You're dealing with literally thousands of years of civilization, all rising and falling and taking place and adapting and growing, all in this one area. That's still, in our eyes, in a lot of ways, it's kind of behind. Right? I mean, they're behind environmentally. They're behind when it comes to human rights.
Consider this. The Portuguese in the late 1400s have rounded the Cape of Good Hope, and they've entered the Indian Ocean in their little ships. They've entered the Indian Ocean, and they actually establish a huge empire. They go to Malacca. They go all over the place, okay? The seas are open to them. If they had come 40 years earlier, they would have encountered the Chinese treasure ships that were 50 times larger than the little caravels that the Portuguese were sailing in. You know what the Chinese did at that time? They went through a period where they felt they just wanted to give gifts to people. And they put together these huge fleets carrying incredibly precious gifts, silks and ceramics.
I don't know what this means, but here we go.
A place in western Montana called Camas Prairie. And you see some hills in the foreground and you see a basin in the background, right? Okay. Right here on top of this hill and down on the side here, you see that there are some quarrying operations. Those are quarrying gravel because everything you're looking at here, this whole landscape between the hills are these large masses of gravel, trillions of tons of gravel. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start sweeping around as the video plays, and you're going to notice down here a series of ripples.
Oh, okay, I see that.
Okay, and I'm going to have Jamie pause in a second, but let's
right
keep
here.
coming around. Do you start seeing the ripples on the landscape?
Wow, right
Let's
there. Look at that.
Pause right there. Right there. Let's pause. Now, I wish I had a pointer, but if you look up, you're going to see a flat piece of land like a tongue coming out, rounded. Yeah, Jamie's right here. That's
Need to get you a laser.
That's a delta. That's a delta. You know what a delta is? You ever heard of a delta? It's when a river comes into a body of water and it's carrying sediment. And because the river is moving along swiftly, it's carrying the sediment. But when it comes into the standing body of water, it slows down and it drops its sediment. It builds a delta. The whole city of Portland, for example, is built on a giant delta.
Wow.
Right? New Orleans is built on a delta, right? Okay, so what we're seeing there is a delta. And then in front of it, we're seeing rippled landscape. Let's keep coming around, Jamie. And so
rippled landscape that looks exactly like the beach looks.
Yeah, keep coming around with that.
That's the thing, it's fractal, because this is the whole mystery of this, that this happens at a scale of inches on beaches and a scale of hundreds of feet here.
Stop again.
Wow, look at that.
Now, right here in the middle, you see a massive delta.
Yes.
Spewed out like a big tongue, splayed out. And then right down here, you start seeing the ripples. And there's a farmhouse. You see the farmhouse there?
Look how small it is.
Now, those ripples are, the tallest ones are about the height of a 5-story building.
Well,
first of all, it's not height. There's no TH at the end. I can't believe a genius would say height. That shouldn't happen. He said height. I don't like it.
Those ripples are, the tallest ones are about the height of a 5-story building.
Yeah, he did.
Whoa. How bizarre.
Let's keep swinging around
Let's
here.
just stop this for a second,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, I don't
so
mind.
these things, they're the size of a 5-story building.
Brett S. throwing down $10 to ask a question. Any other good movies like that, Rich? You know which one I really like? And I'd have recommended it before. I've seen it now twice because it's fun. You wouldn't think I'd like it, but it's called Free Guy. Free Guy, better known as Blue Shirt Guy. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. And it's got the guy who played Deadpool. And he is an AI program in a video game. And he is known as the background players. You know, there's just players walking around and like Grand Theft Auto. So he lives in a city like that. There's a guy walking around with his hands up all the time because he gets mugged and, you know, always the same people getting beat up and everything. So he plays a background character in a video game that becomes alive and aware inside the game. And a girl who made that gets to meet him and they fall in love. And then you see how the video game people learn about having free will, and it's just great. It's fun. It's exciting. It's very fun. So watch Free Guy if you haven't. Also, Moonfall is good. I like Moonfall. A lot of good movies out there. Yeah, I never really talk about too many movies because I'm very finicky, but those are good ones right there. Free Guy. It's fun. I like fun. Doesn't have to be perfect movie, but thanks for the $10 question. Super chat. Mucho gusto, generoso. And then there was $20 that came in on PayPal from David Wilcock. Again, thank you, David, for your ongoing and continuing support of Goof On. Definitely a huge contributor, a good friend of the show. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Thanks, guys. All right. What's this? Hey, see? There it is. Damian Smokey. Hey, man, how you been? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Throwing down a super chat in the middle of, what was it? In the middle of the night, I was going to say, but I didn't want to say it anymore. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good new year. Mucho gusto, generoso. Thanks, man. It's nice to see some people I haven't seen in a while. All right, Andrew, how you doing? Scott Luther, being good, being a good boy. I don't know, but this is interesting. What's going on here? This is showing a cataclysmic event of water. It has been proven. This is just part of the wetlands. No, it's not. I don't know. Where are we here? In Wyoming or something. But it's amazing. Look at this. Look at this.
You know, no flood in any floodplain.
Nothing that we can put into perspective.
Right. The closest we can get to it is a tsunami. But even there, you got to picture the tsunamis that we've experienced in the last decade and a half in Indonesia and Japan. When they made landfall, those tsunamis were roughly between 20 and 50 feet, depending on where you were relative to the oncoming wave and how far distant you were from it.
That's not a lot.
Here, what you have to visualize is a tsunami sweeping over the land that's over 1,000 feet deep.
God.
That's what happened.
Can you imagine that?
And we know that because we can trace the high water marks on the hillsides.
Oh, right.
Are clearly left. The high water marks are clearly etched into the hillsides.
All right, let's get to the other stuff.
So we now know, based upon the study of the ripples, and the water here was moving down. It's filling this basin.
I like when they get to
the
talk about the pyramids
from
and
the
stuff.
north of freshwater, meltwater.
Yeah.
Should we look at one more?
Yeah,
that's another episode, I think, right?
Roll the party. What do you got?
Yeah, let's see the next one.
Back to the flood.
This is the place that I didn't get to take Graham, that I really wanted to.
Okay.
I really wanted to take you here.
This is just evidence of the cataclysmic
So
event that happened 12,800 years ago.
Now, this is the potholes. Okay.
Holy shit.
Look at that.
This is crazy. What we're looking at, folks, the people who are just listening in, you have to go to the YouTube now because this is insanity. This is as close for a dummy like me to look at something like that and then go, oh, that's definitely a river. A river carved that.
Okay, what you're looking at there is a gigantic extinct set of cataracts, like you would find at Niagara Falls, but to use Graham's term, writ large. We're looking at a ridge. We're looking east. The tsunami wave that swept down over these 4 states, one branch of it swept off to the west. This particular branch of it was 400 feet deep when it hit this ridge. And what it did was it spilled over the ridge, and down here in the foreground you see the modern-day Columbia River. From the top of the ridge, where you see the agriculture and the landscape, down to the river is about 1,000 feet.
Wow.
So you basically have to picture you've got this huge sheet of water, 300 to 400 feet deep. It's rushing over, and it finds the lowest spot within this ridge, and that's where it starts focusing its energy. And as it does, it begins to just strip away. The
just
rock.
digs a
now,
hole.
What you're looking at.
That's wild stuff. You guys, we see this all the time on the side of roads and just very small versions. Check this out.
They are.
So what is mainstream science used to describe this sort of, or mainstream archaeology used to describe these features?
This would be geology. Well,
Did I say
catastrophic
archaeology?
flooding.
Yeah, what would they? So they believe this is catastrophic flooding as well.
Yeah.
They just think it's a slower.
They think it's lots of small catastrophic floods. They're not one big catastrophic flood.
Okay.
And what kind of timeline are these
Jeez, look at
geologists putting
that.
on this?
2,000 or 3,000 years.
Yeah.
And why do they think that?
Well, because of the ice dammed model and how much time it would take. See, it gets complicated.
And because until the comet research, there was no credible source of heat that could melt that amount of ice and cause that. Now that's the new factor that's come into the equation.
Now you look at the people standing on the cliff edge there, the edge of the rock.
Yeah, no doubt.
Down there.
Yeah.
So now you get the sense of
Scale.
what would survive again in the aftermath.
Not that dude.
No, not that dude. Not that dude or his buddies.
Yeah. This is a crazy place. Man.
Wow,
It's
look
crazy
at
to
that.
look at. It's just so.
That's
When
beautiful.
you're looking above it, like even here, I mean, you get a sense of it. But if you had just showed this to me, quite honestly, I probably wouldn't have pieced that together. But when you look at it, the original image, it's so blatantly obvious.
And if you look at it as a clock, at about 8 o'clock, you can see a breach, a valley coming off.
Here.
You see that?
Yeah.
Jamie, can you? Yeah, right there.
Where is this?
That was the
This is the
spillover.
Earth.
So at the same time, now get this, at the same window of time that these flood events are happening up in Washington and Idaho and Montana, this caldera suddenly fills up with water. The water spills over the rim and cuts a canyon hundreds of feet deep.
Oh, wow.
Now, what could cause that to suddenly fill up with water? And it's completely removed. It's not receiving glacial meltwater. There's only one thing by default, and that would be rainfall. a lot of rainfall, falling over days and days at a time. So if you go to the next slide, we'll see what sits down in the bottom of this valley is thousands of these gigantic rolled boulders. And you know that they're water transported because they're round, they're rolled. That's what water does. It rolls these things. Now, this is in New Mexico, see? So this is related to the spillway, the overflow of Valles Caldera, which has been dated to that same interval when the floods were happening up north, the same interval that now the comet is dating to.
So if you guys want to take a look at this, I'll drop the link in the show description right after the show. But that's an amazing. The reason I was allowed to play so much of it, because it's 4 hours and you're allowed anything that's all, like you're allowed, you can play like 10% of it. So I didn't play 25 minutes worth. I think I played maybe 20? I was close, 20 minutes. It seemed like a lot because I don't usually let it play that long. But what an amazing video that is. And they've done more. Just go and look up on YouTube Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock and choose your show. Those guys are, they're pitching the same thing over and over. But if you haven't seen it yet, Graham Hancock has a special on cable. I forget where. I think it's Netflix, maybe. I'm not sure. But he goes over everything. He goes to the actual places, and I haven't seen the whole thing. I've just seen a few episodes. I think it's 5 episodes long. Not sure. But it was good. It's pretty good. From Test the Site. It is a good video. Yep, Brandon Smith, good to see you. Great video. All right. So the problem we have is that is supposed to happen again. And I forget what he said, how often it comes around. I'm confusing 3,600 years with Nibiru, but I don't know if we're going to go through the tail or that comet again. I hope not. It would be the end of everything. It really would. All right. 9 traits. Somebody asked earlier, and I didn't forget. What is a dark empath? Well, let me show you. I think you guys might like this. If you're anything like me and you like scary stuff. No, I don't know what this is. I don't know anything. COVID. All right, let's pull this up. Beep. Now get me in there. Boop. There we go. What is? Well, the narcissist empath connection is frequently trodden ground in popular articles and blogs. It is believed that selfish narcissists and sensitive empaths are deeply attracted to one another. Empaths seek to save the narcissists, while the narcissists seek to use the empath for their own needs, for their own ends. Same thing. It's a vicious cycle that often leaves empathetic individuals heartbroken and depleted. Yet there is a personality that combines the selfish traits of the narcissist with the emotional intelligence of the empath. This type of person is known as a dark empath. Research has revealed that the personality type, the dark empath, has the dark triad of traits: narcissism, Machiavellism. Am I saying that right? That's like being macho, right? Isn't that what that is? Machiavellism? Machiavellianism. And psychopathic tendencies. Hey, that's me. Yet dark empaths balance these traits with empathy for others and a self-awareness of their tendencies. This is a dangerous combination with a strong potential for manipulation. Dark empaths are more adaptive than their narcissist counterparts and much harder to identify. They blend into society easily and skate through life on their charm. Can you spot these 9 signs of a dark empath? Dun dun dun. No. No. Yeah, fine. Trying to move it on the wrong screen. Well, we know a little about narcissists since we did a show about, the Angry Channel, Fat Tony, and the Fist, and Alien Addict, and all those people. By the way, did you see Alien Addict? They did another show. He does a show on me for 2 hours. 2 hours about me. It's like, can't you ever just get over yourself? It's like, you fucked up. Get over it. Right? I don't understand. Why don't they just move on? What's so special about us? Nothing. Nothing. Why do they have to keep doing shows? I don't get it. And he said, and he did, and I swear this, and I swear that, and he said, and it's like, grow up. Just move on. I never, ever talk about Alien Addict. I realize that I never talk about him. Well, the reason is because he does a one show or two shows a month, and it's always about trying to get drama or creating drama, or something that he finds special that nobody else cares about, So it's weird. I just don't get it. I guess he should have thought about that before he, baited me on the show. All right. Well, back to this, to the dark empath that I am. I think I am a dark empath. Relationships revolve around their wants and needs. Let's see if I'll be honest. I'll see if this is me. Dark empaths, highly manipulative and controlling nature. See, that's not me. I don't think I'm out there manipulating people. So it can't be. And controlling nature, I'm not a controlling type of guy. I just want people to do the right thing. Be honest, be on time, and be my friend. I mean, what's so hard about the 3 B's in life, right? Unbelievable. Take note, a relationship with one will likely revolve around their wants and needs to the exclusion of their. No, that's not me. If it seems that all compromises are stacked in their favor, it's possible that they could be demonstrating the narcissist side of their personality. Ooh, I don't like those type of people. I've come in contact with a few, both men and women, mostly men that are like that. When paired with their sensitivity, this side of their identity might be dismissed as immaturity, like me. Some partners may simply lack the relationship development. I'm sorry. They simply may lack the relational development to compromise in ways that suit both parties. Pay attention to how often it happens and how they respond to being called out on any unfairness in the relationship. If they continue to exert subtle control to keep the relationship in their favor, this might be a sign that they possess dark empath traits. They have low self-worth. Me? That's me. That's not worthy of a rat-tat-tat. What do they call that thing? Come on. What are they saying? I don't understand. It is interesting that a personality with strong narcissism can also deploy low self-worth. It's certainly a paradox. On the one hand, their egos can be enormous, yet they tend to need constant validation. Hey, that's me. I need validation all the time, every day, all the time. No, I don't. Just after the show. I just want to make sure people are happy. On the other hand, they are self-aware and emotionally intelligent enough to see their own manipulations and consequently feel as if they are unworthy of love. Oh, that is me. Or healthy relationships. So I do have love, maybe, but I'm not a full dark empath. I'm just an empath. Ooh, the struggle with their mental health. Maybe that's starting to happen. Because dark empaths understand the complexities of their own personality, they tend to struggle with anxiety and depression. That's not me. Their awareness of a tendency to manipulate and control others can war with their ability to feel and understand others' emotions. The balance between the dark triad traits and empathy can make it easier for them to make friends and establish relationships, but it can also make it harder to maintain them. Sieg Fugor. They use your feelings against you. Yeah. Their very sensitivity is what makes the dark empath so dangerous. Being able to tune in the emotions of others can be dangerous in the hands of an empath with a dark side. They're likely to be prepared for your emotional reactions and to time their own actions accordingly. It can leave many of us feeling like we've been played like a violin, and we can be sure we have when a dark empath is involved. They are skilled at being perfectly charming and getting their way without making a noticeable fuss. In fact, it's unlikely most of their victims will even realize they've been played for a fool until it's too late and the empath ate their soul. They have a dark sense of humor. Dark empaths speak fluent sarcasm and tend to have a dark sense of humor. They are sometimes known to bully others or have fun at someone else's expense. Oh my gosh, that's me. That's not me. It really isn't. And I don't want anybody thinking that's me. I do not do that. I don't have fun at somebody else's expense. How dare you? I have fun at somebody else's stupidity. That's a big difference. I am not a dark empath. I am just an empath. They guilt trip and gaslight you. We know who those people are. Angry Channel, Scambian, The Fist. They keep an emotional distance. Definitely those guys. That's definitely them. Those are the dark empaths, people. That's what a dark empath is. It's exactly everything you thought it was and less. And I don't think I'm one of them. I mean, I could be, but I don't think I am. Oh, my allergies are starting to kick in. I might go work out after this. I don't know. We'll see. The UFO. I want to talk about this tomorrow from the FedEx plane. That'll be the topic tomorrow. But we're not done. No, we're not done yet. John Greenwald tweeted about the Mosul orb. You know, the one that's getting all the video play from Corbel. The Pentagon refuses to comment, saying that we're not going to comment on remarks by unnamed sources alleging leaks from a classified report, which is definitely a change from their comments on the 2021 images leaked. John Greenwald pointed that out. Also added on Friday, all of a sudden I just got an itch on my back. I gotta get it. I can't reach it. Hold on. I think I got away. Oh, it's so itchy. Oh, that was the itchiest one. I never had an itch like that before. It was so itchy, I couldn't help it. DOD takes public interest in UAP seriously. The department is committed to openness and accountability to the American people, which it must balance with its obligation to protect sensitive information, sources, and methods. Arrow is working to develop a means to provide updates to the public on UFO cases, including sharing the analytic approach and method used. When able to obscure and protect sensitive information, Arrow will work to declassify and clear material for release to the public. So So they commented back then, in one case within hours, but they're not doing it here. They commented on Corbell's other stuff, is what we're talking about here. Immediately. They're not commenting this time on Corbell's stuff. I find that interesting. Why isn't the Pentagon giving? Well, they said why. They said why. We're not going to give a comment on, we're not going to comment on unnamed sources alleging leaks from a classified report. But they've done it before. Why are they being careful now? Because Corbell is a liar. Nah, you know what it is? I'll be honest. I don't know. I'm always honest. I don't think Corbell knows what he's doing. I don't. I really don't. I think Corbell is grateful to be in the game, and as popular as he is, I think he's extremely grateful for that and will do anything it takes to stay at that level. And that's what he's doing. There's no way he could look at these videos and pictures and any radar images and say that is definitely going to make people lose their minds. This is the best we have. There's no way. But he does. He is that way. That's the problem. He really believes that what he is given are real UFOs because people, according to him, that are in the military, because those people are credible people. They have to be. As soon as you put on that uniform, you no longer have a criminal record. You don't have a bad attitude. You immediately become a hero and get respect without doing a freaking thing. And I don't like that. Yes, it takes guts to sign up for, one of the 4 or 5 branches, whatever there are now. It does take some sort of courage to do that. It does. But it doesn't make you a hero. So let's stop putting the label on everybody wearing a uniform is a hero, because there's a lot of scumbags in the military right now that all they care about is wokeism and shit like that. They don't care about making the army stronger and defending this country and all that other stuff that goes with being an American in a military capacity. I don't want to go in the field and go to war with some guy who's pissed off that his scarf doesn't match. I'm like, it's camouflage, dickhead. Nothing matches. It all matches. Who cares? We're going to war. I know that was a real insensitive thing for me to say, but that's what guys like me think. I want somebody out there that's going to man up, not just act like a man. Not just act like a man. And that's the problem. They're bringing that logic into ufology. It's everywhere. And Corbell's part of it. He's on that side of the woke left, just like Elizondo. They all voted for the same Democratic guy, the same people. I'm sorry, it's true. I don't have anything against those people, but they believe in some things and the narrative I don't. And I think they are very bad for ufology and for the public. I think what they're doing is bullshit. They should give us the truth. We can't. I know you can't. So don't just blatantly lie to us. Just tell us the truth. There's some things we can't talk about. And that's that. And they've said that. So why do they keep making this an issue? UFOs. Why is this even a topic of discussion? It's so weird. And how important are UFOs to everybody else? It's not. It's not important to anybody else. Anytime somebody wants to, anytime like what we just went through, let's just say TTSA and Elizondo, they were really on the up and up, and they were trying to get disclosure. They broke up, and we don't really know why, but they couldn't come to an agreement on, I guess, on how to disseminate information or what they were doing with their projects or whatever. They didn't see eye to eye, and they split up. And Elizondo's contract left. He went on his own way. And now he's out there all around the world, in Italy, in France, talking to these people and trying to figure out what they're seeing. And guess what? Now Lady Gaga is involved, I hear. Lady Gaga is meeting Elizondo. I saw that because of Alien Girl talking about it. It's the only reason I know. Let me pull this up real quick. I want to see what's going on with this Lady Gaga and Elizondo. I haven't seen it, but yeah. I don't know. It's not that easy to find, I guess. Lady Gaga UFOs. Here we go. All right. Lady Gaga, Bieber to play aliens and Men in Black. Lady Gaga play Men in Black. I don't know. Lady Gaga wasn't aliens. Gaga gives birth to aliens in new video. Gaga attended UFO investigation event hosted by Sean Parker in January 18th. Yeah, here it is. Lady Gaga attended a UFO investigation event by Sean Parker. Funded an event where Gary Nolan presented the UAP issue to fellow friend Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon. I'm going to play this little clip. I'm going to go over this real quick. Let's take a look. Shall we? Shh, don't yell. Gaga. Goo over Gaga. There he is. There's Gaga. There's the lady. Mrs. Goo.
First thing I sent around to the people, the scientist friends of mine who'd said, this is something you shouldn't be doing. I said, look at this. And what's exciting now fast forward, 4 or 5 years later, now there's so many of my scientific friends who the first thing they want to ask once we're dispensed with the usual—
Did you have sex with Lady Gaga?
That we're doing, Gary, what's going on about the UFO stuff? I really want to hear.
Well, do they want to just hear it, or they want to do something about it?
So, yes. So, Sean Parker, who funds—
oh my God, this is awful. That's Ryan Graves, right? First of all, lose that. Why are you sitting like this, dude? Oh, my legs are falling asleep just looking at him. Now listen to how he says this.
Well, do they want to just hear it, or they want to do something about it?
So, yes.
It sounds like he's acting. Oh, like, hey, you want to do something about it? I don't know. I'm soured.
So, Sean Parker, who funds my lab, the Napster, Facebook, Sean Parker, funds my lab through his immunotherapy of cancer foundation. He actually put down a fair amount of money at one of the conferences that he ran for me to have basically an evening of talking about this matter. Flew in Lou Elizondo. We brought in Chris Mellon via Zoom. Lady Gaga was at the back, hidden. And I know he put a fair amount of money into this.
Are there any pictures of Lady Gaga at this event? I've got to see it.
Now, was there sufficient data? These were my scientific colleagues. And many of them came up to me afterwards and said, well, Gary, you didn't really show any data. And I said, well, the reason there's no data is because nobody else is helping. And so several of them said, how can I help? So that's what changes. You know,
you've got to be kidding me. This guy didn't have any data because nobody helped him? I don't understand the context of this conversation. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you get mad at somebody over that?
You always do need somebody who has whatever the reputation is that is necessary. They can say, okay, well, and I've heard this many times, I wouldn't believe it if it weren't for you. But for me,
no, nobody's ever said that to Gary P. Nolan. Ever. Nobody's ever said that. Guarantee it. It's never been said. Nope. Nope. So Lady Gaga did attend it, which is interesting. See how I was able to switch to screen, no problem? That's what's missing on StreamYard. But here I could do it. I can't tell if the Lady Gaga comment was a joke, Lou Elizondo said. No, she was there among many others. Very gracious and humble. Very gracious and humble. What a planned answer. Oh, Lady Gaga was very gracious and very humble. Shut off. Shut off with that stupid lying sack of crap. He probably didn't even see her. He didn't even know. No. Oh, is that Lady Gaga? She was there? Oh, that's the UFO? Yeah, my ass. My ass. Yeah, we're done with that story. Dark empath. You know what a dark empath is, don't you? A dark empath is somebody who's preying on your emotions and searches out people who are emotionally distraught, I think. And they use it against them because they can feel what they feel, right? That's what the empath is supposed to be, right? That's what I claim I have the ability to do. That's my only claim to any psychicness, is that I my whole life, my mother's the same way. We can walk into a room and immediately feel tension, emotions, all sorts of shit from the people in the room. It's not just one thing. Sometimes there's an event happening and you could walk in not knowing what's happening and get hit with an incredible wave of, like, feels like love, and and people are just happy. They're just happy to be out. They're laughing. Somebody said something funny or did something funny. And there was that energy in the room when I had walked in. And I remember that feeling. I'll never forget it. It almost made me like get emotional because it's weird. I think that's why I like comedy, and I like to be out in front of people and make people laugh. You do feel that energy. It does come back to you. It's an amazing feeling. There's nothing like it. It's to me, speaking in front of people and doing comedy it's nothing like it. I mean, a lot of people try to liken it to being a professional golfer or a singer or somebody who's on their own and performing, but I don't feel that way. Marie's UFOs. We were going to go into Marie's UFOs. She's paid a visit here several times and a very nice supporter of GoofOn. So I wanted to pull up one of her sightings and let's see if we can learn anything today from Marie's UFOs. She says the object here is an orb, and this is taken from from a larger vid where I say I'm waiting for a UFO in 10 minutes and it arrives in about 8 minutes. I was it was just after sunset, and I spotted the orb very high up first in footage and then came back outside, and this was over the garden. According to Marie, we will analyze this. Huh? Uh-oh. Yeah, I didn't see Samo tonight. He didn't know. I told him. He knew. Oh, his power might be out. That's right. He's going through all those issues over there. Why is my name up there? Now it goes down there. That's weird. Jeff Garvey throwing down a super dono. Whoa, 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 a dokano. That's a $5 dokno. Thank you very much. Mucho gusto, generoso. A continuing supporter of Goof on Jeff. Thank you. Hope you're having a good night. And also, Luis Roldan Jr. throwing down a super chat. Mucho gusto, generoso. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you even being here. So thank you for the super chats, guys. That's a really nice support. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm checking. I didn't check. It's been a minute. No, nothing. Thanks, Louise Roldan Jr. Good to see you here at the late hour. We usually don't do shows this late. And as a matter of fact, let's show this last video of the night. This is Marie's UFOs, and then we'll head on out of here. I didn't realize it's 11:45. I thought it was like 11:15.
I was waiting for it, okay.
It's a balloon, it's a bird, it's a ball, it's a drone, it's a satellite. So far, you can't tell anything. Right? This is slow motion, I guess. She did this. So far, we don't know what this is. And I would say that this might be out of focus. But we need to have a perspective. We need to see the city skyline, the trees around, something. I don't care if you're looking straight up either. You need to figure that out and show us everything. You can't just show us these orbs without showing us perspective. Why? Because I want to know where it is, if it's in focus, and I want to see what else is out of focus. If everything's out of focus like I think it is, then we have a big problem with this video. I appreciate the effort. I applaud it like I always do. But if you really want to impress people, show the background, show us what your environment looks like. And we'd like to know the date, the time, so we can look it up as well. And maybe we can see. If I was a betting man, I'd say that is a satellite or a star. I have no doubt in my mind that is not a UFO. But I appreciate the effort. I do. I really do. We need to see everything. When you don't show us the background so I can get an idea of what's going on all around you, then to me, it's almost like you're hiding something, even though you're not. It looks that way. That's all. So I'm just trying to help. Oh my God, Luis Roldan Jr. became a member of GoofOn. Oh yeah, that's right. I will post your guys' names on the people who, like once a month, I'll do that. I don't have it set up yet. Well, February's coming around in 2 days. February already. Jesus. Luis Roldan, that is awesome. Thank you very much. LRJ. Luis Roldan Jr. became a member of the GoofOn. Appreciate it. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for a late show. The support was phenomenal. Thank you. Appreciate that. And moderators and super chatters, always keeping the chat room moving like a machine. Thank you. And I can tell tonight was a good night. Even though we didn't have the normal 160, 170 here, I felt like it was a little quiet, a little quaint tonight. I don't know. I loved it. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. like we usually do. Now, next Sunday, we'll be back, normal time. But the Sunday after that, Super Bowl Sunday. So probably not, but it doesn't matter, does it? We'll play it by ear. Thank you, Dorothy, Rebecca, everybody. We are Truthology for Ufology. And that's that, right? Isn't that it? What else did we say? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I forget. All right. Alien bless.